Secondary analysis is analysis of data by a researcher who has not been involved in the collection of the data. By data we mean quantitative or qualitative data. Of course, it's not always clear where the distinction is between what constitutes primary and secondary analysis, but we have to use our common sense with this. Beginning any research with a review of relevant secondary data as part of the review process is an essential part of research. It helps to outline what has gone before, and this can be used to develop research ideas. It also provides useful data for comparison with your own research later on. It may actually highlight that there is no real need for any more primary research, as the existing data is sufficient. Using secondary data, of course, has a number of advantages. The first one is cost. Secondary information may provide good quality of data at a fraction of the cost of doing more primary research. Organisations such as the UK Data Archive provide access to data from major UK surveys. There are further benefits around quality. Many of the UK's official surveys used in government planning, such as the Labour Force Survey and the British Crime Survey, provide excellent quality data. These surveys have gone through tests for validity, reliability, and have well-adapted procedures for non-response. Using data from larger scale surveys that are conducted longitudinally, i.e. surveys that collect data on a sample population at least twice, can offer the potential for analysis over time. Surveys such as the General Household Survey, the Census, the Labour Force Survey provide excellent opportunities for this and are frequently used for these purposes. Further to this, these large national sample surveys enable analysis of small or very distinct groups of people that, with smaller data sets or data collected from small-scale research, it would not be possible. As well as this, reanalysing existing data can offer the potential for new interpretations of the data. Of course, not being present at the research, design or data collection phase means that you, as a researcher, have absolutely no control over the quality of the research and the data resulting from that research, or the variables that have been included in the research. It may be that an existing set of data has some of the variables you want, but not all of them. Some that you need might be absent completely or may not be an exact match for what you're looking for. Some of the large national surveys are very complex in how they have been created, and sometimes it can require a fairly lengthy process of familiarisation to get to grips with how the survey was constructed, and therefore how you as a researcher can use it. There are of course always issues of ethics and confidentiality. For the larger national surveys, data is actually suppressed at a given level to ensure that confidentiality of people who took part in the survey is maintained. This can mean that some data at a very detailed level may not be available. There are many different sources of secondary data. Official data or statistics, they tend to come from governments, international bodies, especially places like the EU with their Eurostat function and the United Nations, bodies that have been set up by government, so for example health authorities, police, development agencies, so on and so forth, and of course local authorities. Non-official data or statistics, they don't tend to come from places like independent research, universities, market research or the private sector, and generally in the context of social research and reanalyzing data, so if we're actually looking at taking a data set and doing some work with it, we are mainly thinking about official data sources. That's not to say that we don't use your non-official data when we're looking at literature reviews or what's gone previously. We use all that kind of thing, but if we're actually thinking about a data set that we're going to manipulate again, we tend to use those that have come through the official data route. Now of course there are distinctions between what we mean by statistics and what we mean by social research. So if we think about national representation, when we're looking at statistics, they must be nationally representative, and they must cover one or more national or geographic territory. With social research, there's it can be representative of anything. The goal is actually to be representative of the target group. It doesn't have to be nationally focused or anything like that. Statistics, they have to be part of a series, so structured data collection system, they have to be part of a series, or the data needs to be collected to test the development of a new series or benchmark existing data, that kind of thing. Of course, with social research, data collection may be repeated, but it's certainly not a requirement. The third thing is about the data collection and evidence, and any analysis from that being very robust. With official statistics, the application of sound statistical principles consistent with international practice that has been set up, that's quality assured by professional statisticians, that's what they're looking for. With social research, of course, the aim is to make your evidence and analysis very rigorous and robust and based on scientific methods when we think about quantitative research. And there may be any number of professional standards that might have been applied depending on the research methods used. If you want to get some good examples of official statistics and where you can go to have a look at anything you want, UK National Statistics is actually a really good place to start, and you can find that on the link that's there. You can find all sorts of surveys and statistical information about anything from registration data, economic data, right down to crime stats, social trends, and of course access to the census.